everybody, Jesus loves you. My name is Cody. You are watching the Monday episode of that Christian news show thing that I do. And before we get into the news, election day is tomorrow, so vote. And then on Tuesday, remember to go to YouTube/politics because Philip DeFranco and SourceFit are going to be doing live coverage of it for like 6 hours. I'm very excited. I hope that you are too. We can go on to the first story of the day. And the first story of the day really isn't a news story either, but a little while back I talked about an article about SkunksTv. So pretty much I watched an episode of it today that I want to give you an update to, because last time I was like, yeah, according to the article, you should check it out. It sounds pretty cool. It is. When watching it, it's a lot like an MTV show. If I remember correctly, I think I'm thinking of like TRL or something. I don't know if that's the right show. I haven't watched MTV in a long time. At the beginning of the show, they bring out like 2 hosts, and then they have what they call the dudes. They just do some random stuff. Like the episode that I watched, they went through a car wash in the truck bed and like took a shower with all their clothes on. Start off the bat, they're trying to, I guess, just get your attention and try to entertain you. It reminds me a lot of Slime on Nickelodeon between the TV shows. I don't think I enjoyed myself too much there. If you're around 20 years old, you know what I'm talking about. And then what I actually thought was cool is they have like a musical artist come on and they give like their testimony, they interview the person, and then they have like their music videos. And I really like it because it's encouraging Christian media, which I love, but it's also taking the people of Christian media and they're taking them and they're interviewing them and making them real people. I mean, it was really awesome to hear a Christian rapper's life story and get to see where he's coming from and how far he's come. So yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. I figured I should tell you guys more about it, because last time I was like, you should check it out because this article said so. So now, you should check it out because I said so, because I saw it and I thought it was good. If I had to give it an age range, I would say it's probably like from freshman in high school to, you know, a senior in college. It just kind of has that like young adult feel to it. And over the past few months I've been talking a little bit about the movie Noah coming out featuring Russell Crowe, and according to a Christian screenwriter, he says don't get your hopes up. According to the screenwriter, Brian Godawa, who didn't write it, he just looked at the script, he says that they portray Noah more as an environmentalist wacko. According to the script, it's not so much about defacing God as it is that people are defacing the earth, and that is why the flood comes. And it seems like Noah's going to be more like an herbalist, hippie, live off the land type of guy. And again, I've got to point out the irony, because I've always said, man, if only Hollywood would take our Christian stories and do something with them, and now they have, and it seems like they're kind of just twisting them for entertainment purposes. Whether it's good or bad, I really don't know. Hopefully it'll make people want to actually read the Bible. That would be great. But according to Brian, all they're going to do is make a really bad Christian movie that makes a lot of Christians really angry for defacing the story itself, and Christian movies won't be made again because they're not selling well. Hopefully that's not the case. We'll have to see. I would completely understand if that did become the case, because when they destroyed Aragon by trying to make it a movie, I completely can understand. I mean, how do you twist up a story so much that the town that was completely carved out of stone ends up being a swamp? But I digress. Aragon, great book. Aragon, terrible movie. We move on. Another movie story. Wreck-It Ralph has hit the box office and doing amazing despite the fact that Hurricane Sandy happened. And people expected the movies to go way down because of the hurricane, but because there's all these kids that didn't have school on Friday, they went to go see Wreck-It Ralph instead. So, I don't know. I'm excited for it. I'm hoping to see it maybe Wednesday. It's not a Christian movie, but it is a family-friendly movie that I actually want to see, and that rarely ever happens. Hit my video game spot. I want to see video game stuff. I love my old school video games, and this is going to have Easter eggs all throughout, I've been told, so it's going to be amazing. Pull the heartstrings of my past and I just follow. And other news, I just had to give props to the Transformation Church in Tulsa, because they are doing amazing things with their youth group. Their youth group is called So Fly, and it started about 4 years ago with about 150 people. But using evangelism tactics, they grew up to 800 youth group students. With their numbers growing that quickly, they decided, you know, we're gotta stop evangelizing, we just need to worry about discipleship. We have a lot of kids here who need to be discipled. And that number now has dropped to 400 people, but that is still a lot of kids who are learning about God and taking God seriously. And I love the way he said he's doing things. He goes, you know, we do have the good music and we have the pretty lights and all that other stuff that draws people in, but our messages are blunt and in your face, because that's what the kids like. They like hearing something that's relative and just concrete. This is how things are. And he says that's what's drawing teens in. There's a lot of teens that get away from youth groups because they try to sugarcoat everything. So if you don't sugarcoat it, you just tell them how it is, they really appreciate that. And that is awesome. And our final story of the day is about Congressman Frank Wolf, because according to him, Christians aren't doing anything about persecution in foreign countries. And it's easy to see where he's coming from. I mean, persecution is a huge thing, especially in Syria and Egypt, but I think it's 53 countries where Christianity is illegal. And so Wolf says, where is like John Piper? Where's Rick Warren? Where are the big Christian leaders? Why aren't they talking out about such a big issue? And so, two things on this. One, I do think it's a big issue, and I think that Christians should legitimately be worried about this problem. And this is one of those things where I say, you know, the church is a big group of people. We can take care of ourselves. And yes, I do think that we should be supporting our brothers in other countries. But the way that Wolf talks about it, it's kind of like he wants us to get the government involved, and I think that that would be stupid. I don't agree with the United States being the babysitter of all the other countries in the world. So I just thought it was an interesting article because I do agree with Wolf that, yeah, this is a big deal and Christians should be worried about this, especially big Christian leaders who can do something about it. And as I've said before, we as Christians are a pretty big group of people, and we're pretty good at raising money for causes that we support. But then again, I have to be honest, I really don't know that much about what it would take to fight against persecution. But I could definitely see us funding like bomb-proof church structures and maybe things like that. It makes me think of 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 8. For if anyone does not provide for their relatives, especially their own household, then they have denied their faith and are worse than the unbelievers. And I think that should be taken metaphorically and say, you know, the relatives are the entire world and the household is Christians. If we're not even going to support our own Christians, what good are we? I mean, it's kind of crazy when you think about it, because when you think about Christian United States, we are the ones with the opportunity to change the world. We have the resources to do that. And then to quote Brad Stein, there are people in China who are imprisoned because they will not let go of a page of the Bible. And then you go to the United States, and most of us are scared to even say Merry Christmas to the outside world. Brad Stein's a Christian comedian, and he has a pretty good point. And the question of the day today is, if you had to focus on one issue for Christians to be focusing on, what would that issue be? Besides salvation and discipleship, because that's obviously the most important. So any other issue besides that the Christians deal with on a daily basis. As always, leave a comment in the comment section below with your answer. Leave a video response if you want to. That's all that I found interesting in the news today. So in closing, let the haters hate, let the Christians pray, and to everybody like and subscribe. See you later, and God bless.